Welcome back to the channel. My name's Seth Potter. This is a photography channel. Did a little bit of traveling for this video. My family and I went to the Buffalo National River area. My brother is a little bit into stargazing. He recently got a telescope, so we figured we'd go to our nearest dark sky area and rent a cabin and hang out for a couple of days. This would also be my first attempt at astrophotography. Never tried it before. I've occasionally had stars and stuff show up in long exposure images I've done at night, but never on purpose. So this is my first time doing this.
What are you doing? And your dolly? Okay. That's so cute. Are you gonna put your dolly in the bag too? Nope.
The Buffalo River area is only about a 3.5 hour drive from where we live, give or take, depending on what part of the river you're going to. Not too long, but long enough to need a break. It did rain a little bit on us on our way to the cabin, but it wasn't too bad. We arrived at the cabin just as the rain was clearing up, and we unloaded all our crap. You know how that works. When everybody got settled, we started to explore the grounds around the cabin. It was pretty nice. There was a fire pit with some swings around it, nice, some nice pine cones that I snapped a picture of, a good view of the valley around us. It was just a really nice place to stay. As the sun started to set, we all gathered around the fire pit where I struggled to start a fire, but we did get one going eventually. Shortly after that, the stars started showing up in the sky. So Jordan and I started getting our respective stargazing gear ready. He got his telescope out and started putting that together, and I got my tripod out. The next morning started bright and early, as they always do when you have a toddler. If you got one of them, you know what I'm talking about. But at least there was bacon and pancakes. After everybody finished eating, Aggie decided she wanted to go pine cone collecting, so we obliged. wound up spending most of the day inside or around the cabin. We were there to stargaze, not hike, but we did eventually head down to the river. My brother Jordan made us some delicious hamburgers, and while those were cooking, Stephanie and Aggie played bocce ball. Or, you know, as close as you can get to playing bocce ball with a 2-year-old. As the day's heat finally wore off into the evening, Aggie, Stephanie, and I decided we wanted to head on down to the river. My mom and Jordan decided to skip and hang at the cabin. There was a spot just across the river where you could jump off the rocks into a deep pool, and I had to participate in that. Once I got across the river, I used the Osmo Action 5 to grab a quick picture. I wasn't going to try and swim across the river with any of my other camera gear. I don't think it would have made it. Took me a minute to psych myself up to want to jump, but once I committed and jumped, it was a good time. I did get some water up my nose, but you know, that's a risk you take. Aggie decided that the most worthwhile thing to do at the river was throw rocks, and so she threw a ton of rocks. A few moments later, we started hearing thunder and figured it was time to, get away from the water. When we got back to the cabin, I realized I didn't have very many pictures of my mom solo, so I grabbed a couple with the Polaroid and the Leica. You could see the storm clouds rolling in across the Ozark Hills in the distance. Now, in retrospect, I realized I probably should have tried to grab some lightning photography, but I didn't. Maybe next time. As the storm raged outside with lightning flashing and thunder booming, Stephanie and I got Aggie to bed and decided we were going to pass some time by playing some dominoes. Once the storm had subsided, Jordan and I headed back out onto the balcony to do some more stargazing and do some more astrophotography. After grabbing those couple of photos, I headed out into the yard, which was covered in giant spiders, and all I had on was sandals. Wouldn't do that again. Nope. Anyway, I managed to get these couple shots. I don't know that these are really good pictures or not, but I like them. I used a flash to illuminate the cabin, and I did a long, about 7 or 8 second exposure with the Leica. They turned out okay. The next morning, it was time to head on back to Pittsburgh. Alright, well, that's the video. I really appreciate y'all watching. I had a really good time trying out astrophotography. I think I did pretty well for my first time doing it. Yeah, if you like the content, you know the drill. Like, subscribe. If you've got any astrophotography tips, leave them down below so I can read them. I'd really appreciate that. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.